Hello and welcome to the March Madness Prediction Show. Now I want to start off by saying that this is Saturday and the brackets have not come out yet. I don't even know who's in the tournament, so I just want to get a head start on it. So let's start off with the top conferences going into the NCAA tournament. I think by far the two top conferences are the Pac-10 and the Big 12. I mean, if you just look at the Pac-10, UCLA, Stanford, Washington State, USC, just to name a few, I mean, it's the strongest conference definitely throughout, the best conference with 10 teams in it, so... And now let's move on to the Big 12, obviously, probably the most athletic conference, Kansas, Texas, Texas A&M, strong conference. Now the third conference I have up there is the Big East. Obviously, they have kind of an edge on all the other conferences because they have the most teams. They obviously have at the top Louisville, Georgetown, Notre Dame. I mean, some good teams. Definitely will get the most teams in the tournament just because of the amount of teams they have. So then move on to the fourth conference, the ACC. Obviously, Duke and North Carolina at the top as always. Maybe throw a team in like Clemson, strong conference. Fifth conference I have SEC. I think throughout they're not a strong conference, but obviously if you have a good team at top like Tennessee, you know, you gotta at least mark them up above the Big Ten, which I have last, because the Big Ten is horrible. I mean, maybe Indiana, Michigan State, two mediocre teams, in my opinion. Obviously I think they're a little overrated because they don't play anybody. Can't really blame that on them, but I don't really think they're that strong. Alright, now I'm going to move on to the hottest teams going into the NCAA tournament. First team I have up on this list is Louisville. Yes, the Cardinals did lose in the Big East tournament, but I think they have a great coach in Rick Pitino. They won, correct me if I'm wrong, but 8 or 9 games going into the Big East tournament, so I think they're a strong team going in. Next team I have on this list is North Carolina. Obviously, I think their last loss was to Duke at home, and correct me if I'm wrong again, but I'm pretty sure that was their last loss. And so, strong team, obviously, #1 team in the country, and they're hot. So, final team I have on this list is Texas out of the Big 12. I think everybody kind of counted Texas out after Kevin Durant went to the pros, and this year they've really proved a lot of people wrong. They have a ton of big wins. They're in a strong conference, and I think they're hot, and I think they're good going in. We'll see how they do tomorrow. Obviously, I don't know what happens tomorrow in all of these championship games, but they're hot going in. Alright, possible surprise teams. The first team I have on this list is out of the ACC, the Clemson Tigers, who won today against Duke, and they really impressed me. I mean, they got a great outside shooter in Oglesby, very athletic team. I think they could really surprise a lot of people going into this tournament, and I think they almost beat North Carolina twice this season, and they're a big surprise team to me. Alright, next we'll move on to the SEC and Vanderbilt. They had some big wins this season. They also had some pretty bad losses, but I could see them getting in a hot streak, and if they get in a hot streak, I think they have the talent to get maybe Elite 8, if they're lucky, Sweet 16. Final team I have on this list is the University of Notre Dame. Obviously, I don't see them getting into the Elite 8 or the Final 4. I can see them getting on a good run and getting into the Sweet 16, but maybe the Elite 8. But, alright, now let's move on to my Final 4. The 4 teams that I believe are the strongest and will make it to the Final 4. The first team I have on this list, UCLA. I mean, it's hard to find a weakness on this team. You could say they're outside shooting, but if anybody's been watching the Pac-10 tournament, they've been lighting it up from the outside too. Inside-outside presence with Kevin Love and Darren Collison. They're just a strong all-around team. The next team I have on this list is Stanford, and I think a lot of the national media doesn't pay attention to Stanford, simply because they're kind of overshadowed. They're on the West Coast. UCLA kind of overshadows them, and I think you can't count them out. I mean, I don't think any other team in the NCAA has 2 big men like the Stanford Cardinal do, with Robin and Brook Lopez, and I think they're a really strong team. Next, move on to the Kansas Jayhawks. To me, the most athletic starting 5 out there, Brandon Rush. I mean, this team I think will make it to the Final 4 with the most ease. I think they're going to get hot. I think they're going to be good tournament time, and I see them getting to the Final 4 pretty easily. Final team on this list, University of North Carolina. Just like UCLA, they have the good outside-inside presence with Tyler Hansbrough and Ty Lawson. Of course, Tyler Hansbrough, best player in college basketball in my opinion. So that was my Final Four. And finally, my pick to win. Actually, it's two teams right now. I can't narrow it down. UCLA and Kansas. Now, a lot of people are going to say, you know, obviously if you've seen my other video, biased towards UCLA, but to be honest, if you put a gun to my head and made me pick a team, I would pick Kansas. I think they're maybe not the most well-rounded team, but they're the most athletic. I could see them if they get on a hot streak. I don't think any team in the NCAA can beat them. And that's about it. Happy March Madness to you. Signing out. Peace.